Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of What's the Story. It's a hot topic today, and today's episode is about the recent campaign or demonstration that has been happening, which has inflamed an industry that has actually given so much to the Bangladeshi community, namely Siletis. And this is the reason we're sitting here. We'll be addressing a few aspects. Now, again, today's hot topic will be based on two aspects, which are one, as the title says, do we keep the hospitality industry open on Eid Day? And two, the recent campaign and demo, which I've just mentioned, in which some derogatory comments, I don't want to mention the words, that took place by the representatives and the people who are actually campaigning. An apology has taken place. We'll show you a video in a moment. But is it enough? Is the question. Now, obviously, I've got a panel of guests here. Unfortunately, it will be slightly one-sided because we could not get anybody from the opposite side to come and refute the guests here. But having said that, we would like to address the issues that have taken place and what is the reason the owners on that day, they can't actually keep restaurants closed, especially when it's a Friday and Saturday. As you know, that's the most busiest day of the weekend. Revenues are very, very important. So I've got with me Shahriar Shumon, who is from BBCA, who's the Secretary General, and also I've got Siddikur Rahman, who is the former General Secretary, former Vice President of BBCA.
No, BCA.
BCA, sorry, my mistake, BCA. I get that slightly wrong here. And also Jakir Chowdhury, N.E.C member and Convenor Kent Region of BCA. I've got that right, haven't I?
That's okay.
Yes. You see, you're very close to me. That's why I got your name. Not that you guys are not. So first of all, let's just address the latter that I mentioned with regards to Raza Ahmed Faisal's comment. I mean, he's the founder of, if I'm not mistaken, he's the founder of Channel I. But the organization that they led on that day was called Hospitality Workers Union. Now, just to get straight into it, I would like to ask you that what do you think was his state of mind at that moment? I mean, making such a statement which has actually, it's affected most of the, if not all of the people in the industry. And, did he not think that there will be a consequence after resulting in hurting, everybody, the whole industry? Which, by the way, let me remind you and myself, it has given it's actually given or paved the way of many Bangladeshis and most Siletis like himself, right? He's been in the industry himself. He was a restaurant trader himself. To make such comments, it doesn't make me feel comfortable. How does it make you feel, Shumon bhai?
Thank you, Sharif bhai, for inviting me to your show. I'm speechless, to be honest. I'm hurt. The whole industry is hurt. Our members are hurt. The community is hurt. And my personal opinion is I do not want to give a platform to someone who is capable of making such a comment and giving him the importance of someone maybe seeking attention. So I don't want to give the attention. At the same time, I don't want to give the importance to that subject. I think I'm here today to discuss about the issue. That's the most important issue, whether we should close
Or
close or open our restaurant on our 8 days. And that's the main important to me today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. First of all of you come in actually. Probably I've missed mentioning that. Now, Siddikur Rahman Bhai, same question to you. Obviously, the brother said that we don't want to mention this, but at the end of the day, this is the premise of our talk show today. And this is what all this has stemmed from. But that comment was not only made once, it was actually made twice. So it cannot actually be the slip of the tongue. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Sharif, to invite me here today for this show. Because myself, I'm a caterer for the last nearly 35 years.
Oh.
So, first of all, I like to say that I do appreciate all the staff, they want a day off on Eid Day. But the way it has been presented with the protest and the way he has said a lot of words, which is, it's not acceptable, to be honest, because it's insulting the whole community and our elderly who has created this industry. The way he showed it, it looked like this industry is so much bad, it's very filthy. This is where he presented. So it's not acceptable, you see. Because as you can see, because this industry has been in UK for not like 10 or 15 years.
No, it's been here for a long time.
It's been here for 60, 70 years, even more, I think, you see. So the way our elders, they have created and where the comments he has made, that's not acceptable. I mean, he shouldn't be, with that protest, where are they going to go, you see.
For someone like himself, he's a public figure.
He's a public figure as well, so basically he shouldn't use that shoulder. I thought he's a quite decent person, but the way I heard what he was saying is totally unacceptable. But as you said, for the restaurant to be closed on a Eid Day, yes, I mean it's going to be very hard to close on a Eid Day. He has mentioned that.
Actually, we'll come to that later. We'll come to that in a bit because this is our main subject and the pros and cons of that. Let me just move to Jakir Bhai. Jakir Bhai, both of your colleagues have just mentioned that it shouldn't have taken place. The language was absolutely not acceptable and so forth. What could have been done? What would you suggest that, look, campaigning is all good. Demonstrating for anything is all good. I mean, this is a free country. We can demonstrate for anything. You can go and demonstrate for men to wear skirts for all I care. Do you understand? But it's got to be ethical. It's got to be moral. You cannot target and attack an industry, especially I would say an industry that I've mentioned before. It has paved the way for most Bangladeshis, mostly Siletis. I would say that it has sustained the means of living for our Siletis from the 50s, if not earlier. And we all have relatives that have brought so many people from Bangladesh only based on this industry. They come, they work, and this rice and curry industry has made us what we are today, has made our offsprings what they are today. We have solicitors and lawyers and accountants and barristers all in top forms, TV presenters, we have TV bosses, just like Shoaib Bhai himself. We cannot forget the roots, and he himself was in the restaurant industry. However, having said all that, campaigning is all good. Whether it's fruitful, whether it's a commendable subject, that's something we'll come into later on. But approaching the way they approached, was that correct? And if not, how would you say that they should have approached?
Thank you, Sharif. Thank you for inviting us. I mean, it's not that what he said. It's matter who he said it. I mean, this guy, I know him for quite some times. We even say he's a public figure. To me, obviously, he's not. If he was a public figure, you wouldn't know that with the measure when they speak and all that.
Yeah.
But this guy completely lost. And I don't highlight him, neither I don't give him any platform whatsoever. But what we've seen in past, there's always, we've seen mad dog disease. Okay, so I'll take this chapter is one of them and close the chapter. But we're coming back to the core things. Yes, the day off, NL. This is something we need to talk about. It's not the way he said, Believe me, believe me or not, it might be hurting to so many people, including myself, because I'm belongs to the industry, and it's not because of me. It's because of the other people, including my fellow friends, staffs, and so on. He did not only attack the restaurant owner; he did attack all the industry, including the staff as
Absolutely,
well.
yes.
Okay?
So my question was, how should they have approached? Because they have the right to approach and right to campaign.
I mean, look, this is not a place to do that. There is you have to think a bigger picture. Bigger picture. There is a bigger place to do so. I mean, this is something should go in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Go to Parliament Square. Go to number 10 and ask for a national holiday. Okay? And how are you going to do that? I mean, they're probably not going to accept it straight away, but there is so many other ways you can take the initiative.
But then the restaurant owners will be obliged to keep it closed on that day. Maybe if you make it a national holiday. It's a good point.
I mean, even I'm a restaurant owner, I'll be more than happy to do so.
Yeah.
I mean, think about why restaurant owners saying, look, this is going to be difficult. The problem is, we know the industry situation right now.
Yeah.
Okay, think about it. The customer coming in, and they suddenly saw there is a poster hanging on the screen saying this. Sorry, we are closed today for Eid festival.
Yeah.
The customer has to go somewhere else. They already made a plan to come in.
Maybe some of them, they don't know what Eid is. Maybe they've come from, a European country where Islam is not so prevalent there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At the same time, if people booked in advance, where do they go?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. And look, we can come to that in a bit because I just want to cover this aspect. But this is a very good point. The first Eid that we have, which is Eid al-Fitr, we don't even know what day it's going to be. You see, it could be the day before or the day after. And in other cities, our other Muslim brothers and sisters, they celebrate it on a completely different day. So, not to get into it, let's just show the clip of the apology. And as I said, does that apology actually suffice after making such a comment? And not only was...
Not to get into...
Yes, so can we show the video, guys?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I would like to apologize sincerely to the catering industry, who are the backbone of the British Bangladeshi community. And British economy. I am proud to be a member of this community in supporting the workers' campaign to have both Eid off as a holiday. I have unintentionally hurt you. I repeat, please accept my sincere apology. I myself was a restaurant owner in the past. আমি একটা ভুল করে দিচ্ছি, আপনারা আমি হার্ট করছি, আপনারা কষ্ট পাইছেন আমার কথায়, দয়া করে আপনারা আমারে আল্লাহর রাস্তে মাফ করে দিবা। আমার মানে ক্লিয়ার মাপ চাওয়া আর কি। আমি আপনারা হইতাম না যে আমি ভুল করছি না, ভুল হয়ে গেছে, মাপ চাই আপনারা গেছে, আপনারা দয়া করি আল্লাহর রাস্তে আমার মাফ করে দিবা। আসসালামু আলাইকুম ওয়া রাহমাতুল্লাহ।
So that was the apology, and I've got a few texts that has come to me, and somebody has written that yes, you have apologized for the word you used not once but twice. Did you not think the word you used may backfire on you first, as yourself or someone along the line of the progeny you belong to will be in some form or another be involved in the hospitality trade? Somebody else has actually written, it may be anticipated such an apology does not suffice. The volume of the word or words that were used, it cannot be or should not be the slip of a tongue. And I think in the future you need to be more careful not to make such silly mistakes that you later have to apologize for. What do you think about that, Shumon?
Do you really want me to make comments? For someone with the caliber of being into public figures and then making such a comment, and then come out and apologize. I saw a couple of videos, and on the first one, he kind of blamed people misunderstood, and this one, he clearly apologize.
You think it's a cover-up? You think it's just
I go back again. I feel as that I don't want to give attention to something that's seeking attention and someone trying to be important. So I don't want to be making someone important. And
Look,
I want to talk about the industry that has
and
given,
we will do. And we'll
that's
do.
given so much to
be
the
fair,
Bengali communities.
To be fair, he hasn't
UK economy.
He hasn't made a good bid for himself because, first of all, I'd just like to say to the viewers that if you haven't seen the initial video why we're sitting here today, look it up. I'm not going to use the words that were used over there. Alhamdulillah, we're all from good families. We are, we're in the restaurant trade for a reason, or the people who have been in the restaurant trade for a reason. And like I mentioned earlier on, it's given us so much. Okay, we cannot deny that. However we want, we cannot deny that. But what I was saying was he's made his bed. He has to lie on it now. These apology videos are coming out. It's not making it good for him. It's not making it look like he's going to be a popular person. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So in terms of seeking attention, Shumon Bhai, I don't think this was the attention that he was seeking. And anybody in the right mind would not think that. Because the Facebook comments that are coming and so many other things, look, people, they just need a little bit of something to stem their, plans from, right? Now, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It has happened. Okay. But do you think that this was an important campaign in itself? This was, there's so many other things out there that people can actually campaign for. So do you think that, or do you not think that they have gone out of the way to do such a demonstration and here we are sitting? There's other ways of doing it.
Sharif bhai, I'm in favor of people demonstrating, people asking for their rights. And as a restaurant owner, as a representative of British Bangladeshi Caterers Association, we have hundreds of members. When I'm representing them, I believe majority of us, we would like to close our restaurants when it's feasible. If it is feasible, we would like to do that. I personally do it when it's feasible. If it's in Monday to Thursday, then we close our restaurants. If it's on a Friday or Saturday or a special day or a Mother's Day or Valentine's Day, you have to understand that the hospitality industry, we work on a very tight margins. And to sustain our industry, we're already struggling, we have to balance it.
Absolutely.
And make it feasible where it's possible.
Thank you.
And that's where I...
Thank you, Shumon Bhai, for that. Thank you. Siddikur Rahman Bhai, as I've just mentioned slightly earlier on, why campaigning against the industry that has put food on the tables for your families, better still, your own Bengali people? Other communities, they don't go out there and defame their own brothers and sisters. So this will probably be, as a presenter, to the people who came out and demonstrated on that day. As a Bengali myself, and I would urge Bengali brothers not to do this, other communities such as the Pakistani community, the Indian community, everybody's progressing, prospering. Alhamdulillah, we are also prospering. Why would we go out and campaign against our own brothers and sisters, against an industry that has given us jobs? Sometimes these are the only jobs that are provided when so many brothers and sisters come from Bangladesh, let's just say, and they are not being able to get jobs elsewhere. This industry is there to give them that. So my question would be, again, why campaign against the industry that puts food on your tables in your families? What would you say to that?
Well, I would say, because this campaigning is nothing wrong with it. They can campaign about it to see if they can get a day off on an Eid day because they want to stay with their family. So that's another thing. But as a restaurateur, we have to I mean, you have to see that because we are in a different culture of, it's an English country. So basically, if we have to close it, that's going to be a very big impact for us. And as we mentioned before, the Eid, that 2 festive days, it's got no fixed date. It could be on Saturdays, it could be on Fridays, it could be on different days. But I mean, it's going to be quite difficult for the Indian Bangladeshi restaurant to close on the Eid day. But then again, I know they campaigning to close on the Eid day, but they shouldn't campaign. I mean, they should do something homework before. But there's a lot of organization.
No, but would you look, these in campaigns, they can be done in a different manner.
Different manner. So
my question would be, why would we put our own people down? Because this is our industry. The people that were there on the day is their industry.
Yeah.
These are the people that work for the industry. These are the people that sustain a family from the industry. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, so basically,
my question would be, why would we go out there? There are other manners of doing it. Why do we do it publicly? Doesn't it seem like that I'm putting my brother down?
Yeah, definitely. This is what they did, and they shouldn't do it this way. It's totally not acceptable.
Can I just add to that?
Yes.
I don't mind the campaigning about it.
No,
it's
we
not
don't.
about you going against your brother.
We're quite clear.
Everybody's have their own rights, and the workers have definitely their rights. At the same time, the owner have their own rights as well. So you have to do things in a balancing way. So to do that, my thought would be in regards to that having understanding, we exchanging our views and discuss about it on a table, and then if we cannot make them understand why we don't close it, then you go out and do campaign about it. But there are reasons behind it. If you just said in this country, but what happens to Bangladesh? On Eid day, everything's open.
Or the whole world, for that matter, the whole Muslim world.
The whole Muslim world's open on the Eid days. So why we talking about UK is not a Muslim country, where the restaurant industry is already struggling, when it happens across the whole world, in the whole Muslim
Which comes to mind that I'm just trying to imagine for yourselves and for all the urban Bangladeshi Muslim community, you know, on Eid day going to places like Green Street and Whitechapel and, Ilford Lane, and everything's closed. How dull of an Eid day would that be? You going out with your families and everybody, friends and families, to get together. Everything's closed, and it's not going to be much of an Eid, is it?
Nowadays, people more, they do outing on a Christmas. Eid day.
And these brothers and sisters who are campaigning, I'm sure they'll want to spend, not everybody invites families at home. Yes, it's a nice day to invite family at home. We all do this, but it's not all occasions that does not happen. People do want to go out. People do want to take the children for ice cream. Especially children, they don't want to stay home all the time. Every Eid we're staying home, we're either going somewhere. So they want to go out and they want to go to places where there's so many people who are celebrating Eid with you, right? Yeah. Right? Am I correct in that? But my question would be to Jakir Bhai is that most of these people on that day, and I don't want to target anybody. Look, they're all our brothers and sisters. Yeah. We're all one community, guys. Some of them are probably restaurant owners. Some of them are probably left the restaurant trade and now working for somebody in the restaurant trade. Some of them have probably wanna in the future, because this is what happens, right? Somebody works in the restaurant trade for a few years and then they open up their own restaurants. They'll be probably opening up their own restaurant one day themselves. The comment that came from Shoaib Bhai himself, and this is to Shoaib Bhai, and you can answer that. He was a restaurant owner himself. I mean, if he was on the show today, I would ask him, did you give Eid days off?
I would have asked
him that. And isn't that a bit of a hypocrisy, to go out there and make these comments? I mean, the comments and everything's fine, but that derogatory statement is just had to get us together, isn't it? Absolutely. But yes, hypocrisy. That's my question.
Is absolutely. I mean, again, we have to understand who is leading this campaign. It's nothing wrong with the campaign, not the campaigner. But what I'm saying is that particular people we're talking about, especially the one person we are talking about, he is, think about what his situation right now, what his background. And he was a restaurateur, he retired. He was a media, he's retired almost, I believe. Then we probably don't have nothing much to do. Now you have to think about let's create some chaos. Because nowadays there are two ways to become famous. One, either you do a good job or you do a bad job. So what he done, he chose doing the very bad job.
Controversy.
Absolutely.
Really?
So, but you said very rightly, I mean, he really made himself really sticky at the moment. And obviously he say apology and all that, but that's not enough. That's rubbish.
Yeah.
That's completely rubbish. And you know what? I'm not interested in what he say. Neither I'm interested of his apologies.
Yeah.
Because to me, he is not a public figure. If he was a public figure, he would do much changes, but he don't have the ability to do so. So I'm not counting him for anything. But what I'm trying to say is, because of the way he say, he did hurt so many our brothers, our industry, our fellow friends and colleagues. But we want to make sure it don't repeat again in future. Not by this man, by anyone else.
Yeah.
So that's why we thought let's have a discuss on this.
Yeah.
Let's bring these issues and go into the root. Why is the root? And my brothers, I mean, Shumon and my brothers, they explain very well.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Look, we do want to move on to the real subject that we're sitting here for, but just to touch upon two comments. And look, I've got texts here. Somebody already said that this will backfire on him, and it is, unfortunately for him. The comments that he's made, it has, the actual comments that he's made, people are saying worse things than that now. So, you know, we didn't really go into it too much further. He has apologized, you know, and we have to be sympathetic. Okay.
Yeah, but what I see it is the organization they're representing, they should come and see those who are those guru of this industry. Example, BCA, BBCA.
Absolutely,
and so on.
absolutely.
They are the people they should sit with first and take some ideas, discuss, brainstorming, how you could do. Can you do that?
You've answered one of my questions, actually. You see,
That's what I
these are the bodies. You guys are the bodies that represent, and you know, it's not a small organization. Absolutely. You know, you got many members, and you hold many events. Why can't you come up and say, look, let's sit down. We have a concern with staff. We need to accommodate this, and we need to also accommodate you guys, because at the end of the day, it's got to be a two-way street, right? With one bird, let's try and kill, one stone, is it?
Two birds, yeah.
Let's do that. You know, that's commendable. Yeah. That would be a matter of principle, right? That would be something that would be honored, respected, and everybody sits down around the table and talk about it amicably. This is what I'm saying. So rather than going out and you know making a big hoo-ha, which has upset a lot of people.
We need to move on from that, because
definitely.
I wasn't going to use the Sileti word because Sileti viewers whole amra monoy beshi. So I just want to say, amar bebohare amar bongshor porichoy. So it's how you behave.
Thank you. Yeah.
It shows where you come from.
Okay.
So let's leave it to that and let's move forward.
One other thing I've got to touch upon, is that unfortunately some presenters who are presenting shows on this subject have been very partial, have been, you know, campaigning, siding with the campaign as a result of fallacy, misinformation, hearsay. You know, they need to get their facts right. I mean, it's all semantics. One word meaning, but I've used quite a few words. It's all one word. They don't have a clue. They do not have a clue of the restaurant industry. They don't have a clue about the bosses, the staff, and they're going out there doing shows and being very, very partial, might I say. But I think you need to get your information correct here, right? Get all the information right before you do a show and present it nicely. And you have to remember, I think, and this is for all the presenters, I'm saying, we have to remember our roots. We have to remember why we're doing this show. And, you know, I've said it before, get your facts right. Okay. Now, that's what I wanted to touch upon. Let's get to the main part of the show, okay, which is positivity of keeping the restaurants open on that day. What are the positivities? Siddikur, Shumon bhai, let me ask you that what are the benefits of keeping it open? You mentioned a few things, but what are the benefits are for the staff? What are the benefits for yourselves, the customers? Why should we keep it open?
To look at the benefits of it, we need to first look at the feasibility. Although we wanted to close it, the main benefit is the financial benefit. Because you have to look at, if I close it on a Friday, Saturday, 90% of the business is being conducted or been taken in Friday and Saturday night. And rest of the 10% possibly or 20% in the 5 days.
The rest of the week,
from Sunday to Thursday. For someone to close it on a Friday or Saturday because we don't know when our Eid is going to be. So we'll have to declare
the first of the 2 Eids, we don't know what day.
So the impact, the financial impact on it will be a huge. Second one is you have to look at the customer satisfaction. We work on a very demanding and very challenging industry where we have to keep our customers very happy. The competitiveness and the choice of people. If they don't like yours, they can go to different cuisine or a different restaurant. So if, for example, if someone on a special occasions or especially on weekends, especially Friday, Saturday nights, the host community, they book their tables in advance, possibly 2-3 weeks before. Or if I have if majority customers, they celebrate their special occasions. So if they book their special occasion with yourself, how do you close the restaurant on the same day that they already booked 2-3 months before? Absolutely. Some people now, the curry houses has been changed. The mentality is changed. Our generation, our forefathers done extremely well. They set the foundation, but we have taken the industry into a different level, where people going into fine dining and things like that. So if someone to close their restaurant for a very sudden short notice, you'll not just lose one day's customer. You'll have a long-term effect on it. The third benefit is to, I think a lot of people may not agree with me. For example, when I was single, although I came with my parents, I wanted to celebrate my Eid with my friends. After I spent my little time with my family, I wanted to go out. I want to go out and eat. The places to go out is to go to Brick Lane, go to Green Street, go to Southall, go to places where a lot of people gather. And if those restaurants are closed, how do I celebrate it? So keeping that open, I believe a lot of my brothers, they came from Bangladesh, they're working in this industry. We got an industry where 60,000 people working in it. And a lot of people are single. They came on working visas and different visas, or they chose to work in this industry. They still have friend circles. They go out on Eid days and celebrate. So if we to close these restaurants,
that reminds me of my heydays. You know, the Eid days. We used to, let me just put. We used to all hire. We never used to go to friends and family. Yes, the parents, they used to invite people, but there was a moment that we used to go out, and this is actually what we used to do. We used to hire cars, right? We used to go to places like Birmingham, Manchester, and what did we used to do? Go to restaurants, and eat food.
So if we close these restaurants, where these brothers going to go? So majority of them, I'm not saying majority, but there is a huge number of brothers, they don't have family here.
No, I've got your point.
So their family is their friends. So where do they go and celebrate?
Thank you, Shumon bhai. Yes, so you've mentioned the benefits of the customers, if you become a customer, and the benefits of yourselves as an owner. I'll move to Siddikur Rahman bhai, and just I want to know from him what because this is the important part. What is the benefit of the staff
What's the benefit of the staff?
for that day? Yeah.
Well, obviously, staff, they want to take off anyway.
Yeah.
They always want to, if they find, always they will want to take day off.
But I've got a few points. There are some benefits for staff. Some staff.
Yeah, so basically, if they take day off and when they go out, everything is closed. So there's no point taking a day off. So that's one thing. But
and those staff, if they take a day off, they become customers, don't they? They'll be going somewhere.
Another restaurant, yeah. But what I'm saying is because nowadays the majority, not majority, but there's a lot of restaurants, they close one day a week anyway. I got 3 restaurants, which is 2 restaurants, they close on Mondays. Okay. So it's already closed. So basically they can't afford to close another day when it's Eid.
Right.
So it's not something like the restaurant owners are, they continue 7 days open. There's a lot of restaurant takeaway, they close one day.
Yeah.
So the closing is, as Shumon said, that because the Eid is it's not in a fixed day, so it's going to be very predictable to close on one day. You see, that's one thing. Our second thing is, I mean, nowadays, as you know, our culture is everybody on Eid day they go for outing. Our kids they go for they go for outing. So they're going to go to restaurant, but all the restaurant if it's closed, so where they have to go.
Right.
And it's not only that because there's many restaurants in UK. Everything is open on Eid days. It's more busier. You see, only thing I think is closed is the grocery
Look,
shop.
I'm just going to add to that. The initial video or the campaign actually mentioned that Christmas days are closed. Look, first of all, there's no comparison. Christmas Day, wait a minute, Christmas Day is a national holiday.
Yeah.
However, how many shops do you see that are closed nowadays? They're not closed.
So listen,
Boxing Days and Christmas Days
shops,
around the UK, they're not closed.
Even if you see on a restaurant, there's a lot of restaurants, they open on Christmas Day and lunch.
Yeah.
They have a lunch meal. So basically, even on that Christmas Day, they got booking of hundreds of customers they booked. And the shift goes different, but more from afternoon till 9 o'clock at evening.
I don't think even all Indian restaurants are closed on Christmas days. In some places, the all Indian restaurants are not. Because you got to see the demographic of where you are.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of people, who are your customers?
If you see, Sharif, on Boxing Day, I mean, I'm talking about 20, 30 years ago, the Boxing Day used to be closed. On Christmas is totally closed.
Oh, yeah.
But now, it's like a petrol pump was closed as well. But now if you go, everything is open.
In the 80s.
On Christmas and Boxing Day, I mean, especially on Christmas Day, it's very busy, all the restaurants are open. So I mean, on the campaign they said we close today. I mean, we close on the Boxing Day and Christmas Day. Why can't we close on Eid Day?
Yeah.
But he didn't realize that on Christmas and Boxing Day everything is open.
I've got a text that I've got to read out to you in a bit.
This is a national holiday.
This
is on a set day.
I'll come back to you in a bit. Let me move to Jakir Bhai on that point. Actually, you've answered. I would say 90% of the question. One thing I was just looking for, you haven't answered. If Jakir Bhai doesn't answer it, I will cover it. Let me see, Jakir Bhai, same question. Yeah. The benefit of the staff on that day.
Or if you keep it closed.
If the restaurant was open.
Okay. Put it this right now. If you see the statistic, is in our days that was a different. Now it's most of those staff. They are either work permit or one of those categories, and they don't have families. Okay, they don't have families, so they don't have much to show down like others, and so on. So for them, it's benefit for them to stay there, work there, eat there, sleep there. That's the most benefit, and most of those staff take the privilege of that. Yes. That's the main key thing. And second thing is something we really failing here to identify. This campaign is for the restaurant and so on, Bangladeshi and so on. I understand. I do appreciate that. And I know what, I'm also supporter of the campaign. No doubt about that. But what about our other kids? White collar kids. Okay? Do they ever thought about them to ask KPMG, ask XYZ to give a day off for my children? No, they can't. Their reach is not that far. So now they need to work very differently. They need to do lots of homework on that, and they should invite us.
Good point.
BBCA, they should invite those dynamic who's leading this industry.
Thank you. You answered that. Now, just to stem from that, do you think the campaigners themselves should have done a bit more homework?
They should have done,
and a bit more research and get their facts and information right before going out on the streets? And look, there's so many other things that you can go out on the streets for. Cleaner streets, drug-free streets, right? Our Bengali brothers and sisters or nephews and nieces, some of them are going on the complete wrong path. I don't want to mention, it's just a few that I mentioned, but so many things. Why go out there and attack the same restaurants that you work for, the same industry that, look, they have mentioned that some bosses are slave driving there, but that's not only the Bengali industry or the restaurant industry, that's everywhere. You get bad bosses everywhere. Like you get bad staff everywhere as well. And then you get very good staff. I've been following this, I've been following a few shows and, in terms of staff, and one of my very close brother, he mentioned that staff are an asset. You've got to look after the staff and then you can get, much more out of them. Absolutely, this is 100%. We do look after, the restaurant trade has to look after the staff, but just like the restaurant trade or any other trade for that matter has bad bosses, they also have bad staff. So there's got to be a system in place. There've got to be rules and regulation. There's got to be reward and punishment. It's just with any sector, right? Whether you go from the government, public, private, whatever sector. I mean, come on, guys. This is just, ludicrous to say. And then another thing about the mention about VAT and income tax coming and closing you guys up, right? Is it just you guys that's closing up? What about the, let's say, mechanical garage or so many other companies? We cannot paint with the same brush. We cannot paint everybody with the same brush.
I think he shared his experience, put it this way.
Yeah.
But it's probably the bitter experience he gained, and that's why he was sharing anyway.
Yeah, but
right.
At the same time, if you look at it, you got to just do not brush everybody.
Paints everybody the same brush. Yeah, absolutely, yes.
The other thing is, you got to look at the positive side to it. How many industry and which industry will give you your wages, whatever has been agreed on net, and then the bosses pays your tax? This only happens in.
Look, I've got a text.
It only happens in.
Let me just read this text. Let me just read this text quickly before somebody's given me a text and says, "Where is the gratefulness? Lucky we are providing food, accommodations, and a pay pack." Right? This and many other benefits for working in this industry.
Exactly.
I worked in professional industry.
One thing I like to mention as well,
Yeah.
if you think about it, 20, 30 years ago, when we used to work in a restaurant, late 80s,
Yeah.
the hours was more hours than now, because it was from we used to go to work 11 o'clock till 3 o'clock, and 5 o'clock till 12 o'clock, sometime late. But if you think about all things, it's all been cut down now, and the hours been shorter now.
Yeah.
The restaurant, if you think about the restaurant hours is so short, you start at 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
you finish at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
After 10 o'clock is all finished. Every restaurant, even I go one restaurant, I got 19 staff in that restaurant. But last Saturday when I went there late night, when I went there half 12, everything's finished. They're just going.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So,
I've got so many other texts coming in
So
here,
basically,
guys,
if you
but
think about
most of it we covered and we're covering.
If you think about it, I used to work in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Everybody, today's workers going to be future restaurant owners.
Yeah.
I worked in restaurant.
Yeah.
I remember I worked in Cambridge and Newmarket, and I live in Luton.
Yeah.
I used to get a day off. By the time I come home on next day, it's about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon to see my parents.
Yeah.
And the next morning I have to wake up at 8 o'clock, have to
Take a
catch a
bus.
bus at 9 o'clock to get to the restaurant by 11 o'clock
Yeah.
in the morning.
Okay, well, there you go.
But nowadays, you don't do that.
don't do
Majority
that.
of the
You don't do
restaurants
that,
is
no.
only open from 6 o'clock.
What about the
till
days
10
that,
o'clock.
that people used to go once a week to see their families and live in, stay upstairs in the staff house? Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what
Let me move to. Obviously, it's impacted because the demonstration, whether the language was used or not, that's let's leave that aside. But the demonstration itself or the campaign itself has risen or given rise to so many questions from staff itself. I've had staff coming to me and says, why do you guys not close on Eid Day? Again, it's without thinking of the implications that will take place and so forth. But it's not just the loss of the business there's so many other things which Jakir Bhai mentioned, the benefit of this. And let me just iterate on that a little bit. Let's just give you a scenario of a staff. Two scenarios I'll give you. One staff, he's got no families. He's got no friends. He's somebody new, right? That's it. You give him a day off. Restaurant's closed. He's going to stay at home, right? Spending Eid with who? At least if he's in the restaurant, he'll be seeing customers and mind will be fresh.
Yeah.
Second scenario, let's say his friends work in McDonald's or some English place or some other jobs. Again, he's taken a day off, but he can't spend time with anyone. Do you understand? So these are the benefits that keeping the restaurant open will also do. And having said the fact that, the same people that will take a day off on Eid day, maybe 50% of them will go out to so many Bengali areas, and there's nothing open for you guys. Okay? Go there, go around, and I don't know, speak on the streets and come back home.
But they also, Sharif Bhai, people was coming to me and raising question, you do not allow your staff to go to the Salah. Eid Salah.
Okay, so that's
completely
that
false.
was I was going to come to. What do you facilitate? Because we are all Muslims and we do need to facilitate our staff. We need to facilitate ourselves.
Yeah.
Yourselves, okay? Let me not speak as a restaurateur here. Let me speak as a presenter because I get carried away sometimes. But yourselves, you do read the Salah, right?
100%.
What time do you give me a scenario for yourself and most restaurants around the country?
I don't know anybody who does not close the restaurant for Salah. Right. Even in Jummah.
But that's in the morning though, the Salah is.
Forget about Eid. Eid is definitely closed until 5, 6 o'clock. And we allow our staff to go late on the Eid days to just, we prepare our everything night before or a couple of days before, prepare everything, making sure that we don't need to go and do the preps on Eid day. Everything is ready, so you go late, just possibly a few minutes before the opening hours. Okay. If it's open at 6, you just go at 6 o'clock. As long as you go at 6 o'clock, is fine. So you got the whole day to spend it with your family or friends, go to the Salah and do whatever you want. It's not only on Eid Salah that we allow that. Majority of the restaurants, we close for Jummah.
Yes. Yes.
And we allow them to go and read Salah. Okay. If you go to majority of the restaurants now, we create prayers room. Yeah. If we have a place where we got majority of the restaurants got accommodation upstairs, we create a Salah room so people, even if it's on Saturday, the whole restaurant is full. We allow in turns people to go and read their Salah on time.
Absolutely. So since we're speaking about Eid Day specifically, the facilitation for the staff on Eid Day, you say that you give them the time for Salah because daytime is off, right?
Completely off.
And most of the restaurants, they open up.
Time for
so I would say they get best of both worlds. They've got a job that they can earn that day's wages from. At the same time, they're doing their Salah, fulfilling their religious obligations, fulfilling their family obligations, looking at or spending time with family, right? Okay, that's one scenario that you've given, alhamdulillah. Now, what about places that open from, let's just say Whitechapel, for example, because I can relate, or Green Street. They open from 9 o'clock to, evening, right? And let me just tell you what these, because I'm a part of the association in Whitechapel, which is the Workers Whitechapel Association. The owners, the restaurant owners and business owners association. We divide it in 3 parts the whole day. So you're open from 9 to 12, let's just say. You divide that in 3 parts, right? And those restaurants, they have shift workers. So we give a third of the day to friends and family and your Salah. Okay, so my point is that you coming out here and campaigning, and that these guys are not getting their days off or this, that, and the other. But the restaurants are actually facilitating, even the ones that are open from morning to evening, they're facilitating the Salah. I don't think any boss in his right mind, and if any boss, they don't give that Eid Salah time, then we should get out there and we should demonstrate, and I'll be a part of that.
I'll be part of that.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to go and demonstrate.
Yes, Jakir bhai, go on.
Sharif bhai, to think that, I mean, I remember in late 80s, while I was working in a restaurant, my workplace was the Siren Sister, and the nearest mosque was in Gloucester. That's about 35 miles away. Wow. Okay, so my boss, he basically hired a minicab at the time, taxi, and sent our old stuff to the Eid prayer. I'm talking about late 80s. Well, I had my own business. It's early 90s in Wales, in Carndilo, and my nearest mosque was in Swansea. Okay. So we have to do the same thing on Eid time. We have to hire the taxis and take it. At that time, there wasn't many drivers. There wasn't many drivers to drive the car or own the car. So if you think about 35 years ago, that the practice was, I mean, there was this practice at the time. And now, most of the, I can say about, example, BBCA members, the owners we know, the fellow owners we know. Number one, Eid Salah is no question to ask. We all know how it's worked. Jummah, most of the restaurant they're closed in Jummah's time, okay? And coming back to the Eid, if it's in weekdays, I know there's so many restaurants, including my restaurant, we close, okay? Weekdays.
Yeah.
Weekend, we should consider, we should understand, it's not about the business owner, it's about you as well. Because this money, whatever you're earning from that particular business, and most of the, example, my staff, they're so loyal. They're so loyal. They feel more than me about my business. Because they understand this, whatever they're earning is coming from that particular business. Yeah. So they're having the ownership of the business.
Yeah.
I give you an example, small example. During the COVID, I had few staff that didn't have no family. And
I can tell you.
They came to me and they said, "You're not coming to the restaurant. We're going to open it and we're going to provide the tickets."
I hope they are not the same staff who are campaigning with this campaign today, right?
They will be
Siddikur Rahman bhai, look, we've covered so many aspects here. We'll go into some suggestions because we have to address people who do come out and campaign. And we have to address it in such a way that it is good for them and good for the industry, okay? And they have to understand that this is an industry that are putting, foods on. It's bread and butter for everybody, isn't it? But just to cover on the fact that, what are the benefits there are of opening for both parties. There's the fact of loss of wages as well. Right, so that, if we did not cover that specifically, I just want to say that a restaurant that gives a day off would be a normal day off on a week, and then there will be another day off for the Eid day. And there are so many restaurants they can't even afford, at the moment in time, they're struggling. So how do they, if that staff says, "I'm going to take a day off, but you got to pay me as well," it cannot work like that.
Both way.
What would you say to that?
Basically, it's going to be very difficult for the restaurant to do that. So I suggest that for closing down, to keep the restaurant closed on Eid day, it is quite difficult because of it's not a fixed day. Yeah. We don't really want to, because...
but Eid al-Adha is a fixed day.
There's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So basically, they already got off. Yeah. Or everybody's on Friday, Saturday.
Just to play their advocate here, I was going to use another word, but I'm not going to. But the Eid al-Adha, this is the fixed day. It's a fixed day. We do know this from a couple of weeks ago, I think, right? That it will be on a... And look, I've got a text here. It says... It's because this Friday, this Eid will be on a Friday, and maybe some bosses have gone on the wrong side of the staff's nerve. It only took one staff to actually start this campaign off and set fire to the whole industry. It's very interesting. I've got so many other texts here. It's interesting how they're coming through. But you can just see the mindset of people. And I've got some negative ones as well. They should get days off. They should close. They should also pay. So, this is what we're covering. We cannot give you all the staff days off. and then also pay for that, the industry is not so lucrative at the moment.
Yeah, then again, Sharif bhai, there's one way you can do that. This is always on my mind sometimes, I think. Because I can hear a lot of people, not from like this campaign, but I always know that a lot of people say, why don't you close on an Eid day? But the problem is, we cannot, only 1 or 2 restaurants cannot close.
We covered that because
the whole nation, or a whole country restaurant has to be closed. So how are you going to do that? I mean, you can't really do this. Everyone going to close.
Yeah.
So only 1 or 2 restaurants in your town, you can close it.
So it will be a boring London or boring UK.
So you can't do that.
It's
and it's a loss of a big revenue as well, because the restaurant cannot afford it as well.
Yeah.
So that's the
Saudi, right? We're in Hajj now. Okay, let's just say all the staff, they want a day off.
Yeah.
How's that going to look?
No, it's not.
Guys. So I would say to my dear brothers and sisters, and I'm facing the camera now. So studio, can you? Yes. To my dear brothers and sisters, I love you for you being Bengali, for you being Muslims, and we are all on the same page. We're all on the same boat. And I just remember a joke, and I've got another text that's come through here. But we're all on the same page. We should lift ourselves up. Let's lift ourselves up, our own industries up, guys. And there's ways of doing things. Yes, some of the maybe there's some parts of the industry which are not correct, which are not accommodating your needs. But these are things that we can talk about. We've got the BCA, the BBCA. You can sit with people like that. These are bodies who are representing this whole industry, representing yourselves, okay? And you can sit down and speak. But what I'm going to say is, when it comes to our own industry, when it comes to our own brothers and sisters, we need to lift ourselves up. And the little joke that I remember is with, let me just quickly say, is there's 3 groups of people trying to get onto a flotilla of ships. So one ship, you've got a group of people that are going up, they're getting some help, no problem. The other ship, again, the same thing. But the Bengalis, nobody wants to help them, because the saying from the captain was, this is a ship full of Bengalis. One of them will get another one down. It's no point helping them. So, it's just, they will put each other down. So my point is, let's go forward in the world. Let's go forward. Let our community, our people go forward and progress and prosper, rather than how to find nitty-gritty points and put each other down. Okay, so this is what I will be saying. And we have made a few suggestions to sit around the table, to sit with these organizations, and we should get our needs complete. We should get our needs addressed. Today is the day of Arafah. I hope you have a blessed day. I'm thanking my guests to come. We've covered an hour. We have to leave now. Iftar is going to be soon. But thank you for watching. If you are watching, if not, you can watch it later on when the show's over, after you've had your iftar. But once again, I hope we've done a good service. I hope we've given justice to the show and to the subject itself. The apologies have taken place. We've got to be sympathetic. Let's try to not make these kind of mistakes that will inflame our own brothers and sisters and, get us coming and sitting down here and talking about it. But rather than that, let's see if we can go forward and progress in a better way. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.